Hello everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com and doing a quick video about tolerance, libertarianism, free speech. And before we go to that, let's just be very clear about what libertarianism is. So we're just going to keep it real simple today and just basically outline it as self-ownership and non-aggression. Basically the idea that you own yourself and you own your property, and because of that, no one else has the right to aggress upon you, be physically aggress upon your property and your life and your body. Okay? So with that being said, libertarians are very big on protecting your property rights, protecting, again, your ability to use your body, to protect your life, and acquire property. And then for other people not to be able to take your property, which includes your body and your life. So in that case, the right for free speech is basically use of your body. Your ability to speak is also what's referred to as a negative right. A right that doesn't require somebody else's to do something for you. No one else has to do anything for you to be able to speak. That's just something you can naturally do. That's why it's a negative right. Libertarians are generally pro-negative rights, not for positive rights, which are when you say something like healthcare is right. The only way we can make sure that everybody has healthcare is to force other people to do things, to force a doctor to provide healthcare, or force someone to provide the money to pay the doctor to provide healthcare. The idea is there's some sort of obligation to other things. It doesn't necessarily mean we don't want people to have healthcare, we don't want people to have educations, but there's a difference between saying you want someone to, just because you want someone to have something doesn't make it a right. Okay, so now that we kind of clarified libertarianism a little bit and the philosophy of it, what about free speech? What about people like Milo Yiannapoulos that people find controversial? Okay, a couple days ago I said some very harsh things because I was very upset by things that Milo said. Do I think he should not be able to say them? No, he has the right to say them. That's the right to free speech. That's his negative right. That's his right as a person. But I have a right to be offended. Okay, but I cannot use force against him. I cannot sit there and force him to stop saying what I don't like. Nor should I ever, and nor would I ever advocate that. But as someone who is concerned about misrepresentation of facts and stuff like that, that concern me, I'm not going to give a platform for saying those things. And that's what every individual can use their negative rights, their right to free speech, their right to their body, to choose not to listen, to choose to speak out, to choose whatnot. Okay, and that's the bottom line. That's your recourse. That's the only recourse you have against somebody who's using their negative rights, who's not aggressing. Which, for all intents and purposes, Milo Yiannapoulos is not aggressing on anybody. He is not using violence on anybody's property. He may, again, sometimes use facts to obfuscate points for the purposes of provoking, which sometimes he's saying things that I agree with, other times he's saying things I virulently disagree with, which is the reason why I posted what I posted the other day. But the point is, just because people have the right to offend, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm obligated to not be offended or I'm obligated to do anything. Okay, and that's generally libertarians. And libertarians can differ on this. Libertarians can have different views on whether being a provocateur has a value, and it doesn't necessarily mean there's a uniform opinion on that. It doesn't mean every provocateur is either bad or good. Okay, you can believe that sometimes provocativity can serve a function, and I do in certain cases, and vice versa, the opposite. And I do think, me personally, again, this is my personal opinion, not my opinion as a libertarian, and there's a difference between that. Okay, as a libertarian, you can have personal opinions. The idea is just to not confuse your personal opinions with libertarianism. Okay, so my personal opinion is that while I think in the early days, Milo Yiannapoulos, some of his his moments as a provocateur had a function where he made valuable points in certain areas. He's getting to the point where now he's just trying to be provocative for the sake of being provocative. And that I don't think necessarily serves as much of a function, because then that just undermines anything that is of value that he might say, or anyone who may who finds themselves sympathetic to him may be able to say it, because you just undermine your credibility over the long run. There's a point where disruption is useful to get someone to listen, but there's a point when you just become disruptive for the sake of being disruptive. People stop listening because you're not disruptive because you're trying to make some grander point, or basically you're not making a point after a while, and now people realize, okay, you're just being loud for the sake of being loud, kind of like a kid throwing a tantrum. A first time you may listen to him because maybe he's really trying to get your attention for something important, but if he keeps throwing a tantrum, and eventually you just kind of, it loses its bite. And that's generally how I feel about this situation. But bottom line is, you can be in opposition, you can be for the things that Milo's saying, and be a libertarian. A libertarian is a very limited, a very specific idea of what you think about property rights and people's right to their lives, their body, and their property. You can have opinions that I vehemently disagree with outside of that. You can have opinions that I vehemently agree with outside of that. And as long as we understand that, I think we can move forward with being a libertarian community when we disagree. So my name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. Have a great day and enjoy.